Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Tuesday, June 14th. A steamy, hot, sticky, whatever you want to call it. It was a hot day out today in the city of Fitchburg, and I hope, or I guess all across Wisconsin for that matter, hopefully you stayed cool or found a way to stay cool today. Maybe you'll use the splash pad today. Maybe you just stayed inside because it was too hot out. Whatever the case is, I hope you had a good day. We still got another day of this hot weather, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well as we work through this hot day. And yeah, it's going to be a scorcher tomorrow as well. We'll talk about some of that heat safety and what you do during heat safety or these long periods of heat heat days. I don't know what you want to call it, just long days of excessive heat. We'll talk about that and staying safe here in the headlines. Plus, we'll check in with our road construction master. Well, maybe a master. He's a good guy, though. Engineer Andrew McFadden will be here, give us our road construction update. And we check in with the Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection, talking about elder abuse scams. Elder Abuse Month is happening, and we want to prevent you, really anybody, doesn't just have to be elders, from getting scammed. And I've got some good statistics in that interview that'll make you think twice, because elders aren't the only ones that are getting picked on. And yeah, they're not the ones necessarily getting picked on the most, but they are losing a lot. We'll break it all down for you coming up in our guest segment. But let's turn to the headlines, and that heat is on, and we want to make sure you stay safe as we go through these types of heat events. So I've got some heat information, and this is how to stay safe during excessive heat events. So first one, any outdoor activity, slow down, reduce, eliminate, or reschedule strenuous activities until the coolest part of the day. The children, infants, older adults, especially those with pre-existing conditions or certain medical conditions, may be more susceptible to the heat. So you should limit your time outside to be safe. Wear light clothing, loose-fitting, light-colored clothing when you're out in the sunlight, and minimize direct exposure to the sun. Sunburns reduce your body's ability to dissipate heat. So be safe out there. Eating and drinking, eat light, cool, easy digestible foods such as fruit salads. If you pack, put it in a cooler, carry it in an ice pack. Do not leave it sitting, especially meats, dairy, anything that could spoil. That just makes you feel for that. Drink plenty of water. Not very cold though, and non-alcoholic or decaffeinated fluids are better. And even if you don't feel thirsty, stay hydrated by keep drinking that. And do not take salt tablets unless you are directed to by your physician. Cooling down, use an air conditioner or spend time in an air conditioning location like malls or libraries. We got a good library right next to us here at City Hall. Use portable electric fans, exhausts. Do not direct the flow of a portable electronic fan towards yourself with a room temperature hotter than 90 degrees. You'll just be blowing and dehydrating yourself. Not good. And make sure you checked on others during these long heat periods, because we want to make sure everybody is staying safe out there as it comes to these hot temperatures. And yeah, we got another day of it tomorrow, so let's stay safe out there. All right, other news happening tomorrow. Oak Bank Summer Soiree and Fitchburg Business After Hours is happening at Oak Bank. This is from 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Join the Fitchburg Chamber Visitor Business Bureau and Oak Bank for the 2022 Summer Soiree. Connect with businesses and community while enjoying live music from Wheelhouse, great food from Jackknife and Chocolate Shop, ice cream, refreshing beverages from the Hop House. Summer Soiree happens each and every year at Oak Bank. Turning our attention to the Senior Center, we've got an event coming up called Our Aging Brains, Meeting the Changes and Challenges. Review what is normal for our brains as we age, review what is normal for age. Whatever the case may be, my brain isn't working, and what to do if you are concerned about your brain's activity. Learn ways to maintain your brain health. Thursday, June 16th at 10:30 a.m. Come down to the Senior Center. Program is led by dementia outreach specialists from the Alzheimer's and Dementia Alliance of Wisconsin. This is a non-registration program, so you can just drop in. Also happening tomorrow, you can meet Marty Gear, DMV. Well, he's a veterinarian, and this is going to be a practicing veterinarian of 40 years and owner of 3 veterinary clinics. The program will be how to raise happy, healthy pets, important tips for staying on top of your pet's wellness. And Dr. Gear is a wellspring of knowledge when it comes to keeping dogs and cats happy and healthy. So come on out. It'll be a lot of fun. It says that you should register for this program. Head to the website, fitchburgwi.gov. All right, friends of the Fitchburg Public Library have their used book sale happening this week. The pre-sale is happening for event only for the friends of the Fitchburg Public Library. It will be held from 4 to 6 p.m. on June 16th with complimentary wine and cheese. The sale itself opens to the public from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the 16th, and that continues through the weekend. So stop on by and pick up your books. Remember that bag sale that happens on Saturday starting at 2 p.m. I think that's the best way that you can get some books, certainly a lot of books at that. And yeah, they have built up pile of books that they're ready to distribute. So get ready for that. 2 years in the making, in fact. So it's going to be a good book sale. Finally, fun in the park. As part of our Town of Madison attachment and communications, we have events that will be happening out at the park. Fun at the park. The first event is going to be happening on June 23rd at 4:30 p.m. It goes till 6:30 p.m. at the Southdale Park, located at 200 Deer Valley Road. It's a beautiful park. Stop out for a whole bunch of games, food, fun, and information about the city of Fitchburg and the transition. All right, that does it for our headlines. We'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we open up our digest with your Fitchburg road construction update on TF.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from our engineering department, it's Andrew McFadden. Welcome back to the show, Andrew. How you doing?
Hey, Jeremy, good.
Glad to have you here, and we're going to get on with our road construction update as we hit the hot days of summer, or whatever you want to call it. Road construction has been ongoing in different parts. I feel weird not talking about like this big project for once, but there's still lots of projects happening in the area. And the one that you might notice right out of the gate here is that MM and McCoy. A lot of work doing there. And I was telling Andrew that I feel like this project's just cruising.
Yeah, they're definitely making it through their stages. I think there was a changeover last week, and there's going to be another one proposed for next week. So, yep, they're moving fast. Those closures are still in effect, so no left turns, no U-turns. And if you bear with us, you'll have a nice new signal there to make all those turns with a full movement access intersection in August or at the end of August, if all goes well. So. Just bear with us. I know that that's a pain to get around up there, but hopefully, everybody can stay safe and we can get that intersection built pretty quickly.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like they have just been cruising along. So one thing that I have seen, though, Andrew, is the U-turn action there. Can you just remind motorists why we shouldn't be making the U-turn? And I apologize. I don't know the crossover there north of the and my northeast is going to be a little off there, but
Right.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, East Clayton there, right? That kind of, so from the get-go, we restricted left turns, so folks couldn't take a left from McCoy, they couldn't take a left from MM, and that was primarily just so that we could continue kind of the staging and not create those kind of dangerous conflicts that actually led to the construction of this signal through the HISIP grant application. Those are some of the more serious crashes, those kind of broadside crashes when people turn left in front of fast-moving vehicles. But so that's why we did that. But then we also noticed that folks were kind of trying to get around taking a left by just taking a right and U-turning pretty quickly down by East Clayton and kind of the trail crossing there. And really, I think we were concerned about that. With the trail being there, with the hill, folks moving pretty fast going northbound down the hill. We just felt like that wasn't the best place to make a U-turn. And in fact, there was a crash there, a rear end kind of crash that somebody tried to do a U-turn, so we hit them coming from behind. So after we installed the prohibition on U-turn, so really just we have some detour signs put up to use Lacey, to use US 14, and to kind of get over to the Rimrock area. there's other options. I know they're not convenient, but they are safer to kind of go around and avoid that intersection and those turns if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety first at those construction. I've seen too many close calls. That's my way into work every day. So, I've seen quite a bit that's been disturbing, and I
Mhm.
just want to glad you recognize and explain why that's not a good idea there. So, slow down and be safe on that one. Next, we're going to turn to some chip seal work happening on Lacey Road coming up. Tell us about this.
Yeah, and that's kind of East Lacey, going over from basically the roundabout up there by Haight Farm, then north all the way over to MM. And so that kind of got started in earnest this week with some pavement marking removals. I think they're mostly done, but they'll have a few to finish up today and tomorrow, Wednesday. And then really they'll get the chip sealing, which is basically just we put kind of emulsified layer down, kind of tarry black layer that, and then we put some chips on top. They're going to be doing that on Thursday and Friday, both on Lacey Road and on McCoy, and some other smaller streets that local streets that should be all wrapped up this week. And for Lacey specifically, there will be a lane open in each direction, but there might be some temporary kind of full road closures just while they put that emulsified layer down. Mainly just we don't want to spray anybody's vehicle or have anybody track onto that and then get that all under their underside of their vehicle. So it's totally safe to drive on once we get those rocks down, the chips, as we call them. But just making sure we don't we don't want to get anybody's vehicle dirty. So there might be some temporary closures on those roads during those operations.
Tar is hard to get off. So
Yep.
bottom line, like you don't want the pain in the butt of doing that. Yeah, I would listen to and follow instructions out there as this is going on. Turning our attention to some telecommunications work happening too. So there's other small closures, utility work happening around the city. Those are, I guess, could you describe those for us? Not where everyone's happening, but what's going on there.
Sure, yeah. And so you'll see every street in Fitchburg, but particularly they're more noticeable when you're seeing that work get done on the major arterials like Lacey or McKee. And you'll basically usually see road work ahead, utility work ahead signs. Those are utility contractors, and not anything to do necessarily with the city. Those guys are working for the telecom companies, laying fiber, in conduit, and they go through a city process to get a street occupancy permit and a work in a right-of-way permit. So the city knows kind of what they're doing, and if they're crossing underneath our facilities, that we can be out there to inspect it, make sure everything's done correctly. They don't bore through a storm sewer pipe or lead to a crack sidewalk or something like that. But as far as the actual work being accomplished, that's kind of for private interest that the city's just aware of and there for oversight. So you'll notice those kind of going on, and typically those don't close down lanes, but sometimes they close down sidewalks or partial lane or that sort of thing, just while they're moving their equipment and getting past some of those areas. So I just kind of want to make folks aware of those because those pop up and they're not necessarily covered in these sorts of construction updates because they're not on our schedule. So but I just want to make folks aware of them, and you can always call us and we can kind of give you the information. Typically you'll see ahead of time those 811s, you'll see the flags out there, you'll at least know something's coming, but what it is, feel free to give us a call and we can let you know.
Yeah, it's not necessarily connected with any of our city projects. These are just infrastructure of, like I said, broadband and cable company work. So we'll glad you have the phone lines open to answer those questions because it can be confusing at times, I'm sure. Finally, want to talk about the South Sain Road project. Basically, we had to talk about this one too because I'm like, I thought it was here and here. Like, well, it's here and here, and you're actually going to pull up a map and walk us through this. So tell us about this project, Andrew, and what is coming up.
Yeah, so South Sain was kind of split up. So it's a reconstruction from Aurora up to McCoy, or through McCoy, really. And the whole roadway is being reconstructed. We're going to add on-street bike facilities and curb and gutter in most places. but we're kind of chunking up into phases, mainly for grant opportunities, so that we can get some other aid along this project. But this particular phase is going to be starting here in August of 2022 and extending through to June of next year, 2023. It's going to start basically the project scope is in 22 to go basically from the Swan Creek north, and I can share my screen. In kind of totality, this project goes from Aurora, kind of, it does touch Lacey Road in either direction to improve this intersection, and through East Sherrill up to Nannerberry Park right here. And so that's kind of the phase 1 project. And so we're also reconstructing East Sherrill with a signal and kind of improving East Sherrill as well. But what's actually going to be done in 2022 is Swan Creek North. So basically this portion. So let's call it phase 1A in 2022. And so first off, we're going to kind of connect the storm sewer and route it up. Basically, you want to do your underground work first. So if that was sanitary or storm sewer or water, you do those utilities first, and then you can kind of build the road up on top. So we'll do that first. There will be some closures, and we have some of that specified in our contract documents. So you can kind of, I can walk through this briefly, but there's going to be some phases to put temporary pavement down so that later on, when we're working on the west side, there'll be enough room to get past there. So that'll be stage A. Then so we'll have a detour generally to move people to you can kind of see here, over to Lacey Road, then either in the East Sherrill if you're going to get to your property there, or if you're just going to continue, we're actually going to move people onto Central Park Place, so that you can just get totally around these closures. Because really, when we're reconstructing the intersection first of East Sherrill and then in 2023 of Lacey, we want to make sure that we can get as much work done as fast as possible. So there'll be local access for properties there, but if you're going through the area, we'll have these other detours for you, both east and west of the corridor. And so you can see here on the so the project will be going on here, but if you're on the west side, and we have that intersection closed, there'll be some detour signs there to use Sunflower or use Stoneman to kind of get around. So again, we're looking for approval from the contractor. So there was a awarded bid, and then we're going through council to get that approval. So we'll likely have that on the 28th. So once we have that, then the contractor can really in earnest get their schedule going, revise some of these early kind of concepts of what the detour is going to look like. And then, we'll have some more information later this summer just to kind of clarify before anything gets going too fast in earnest.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be posting that to the project website. And so that's, Public Works. And then we have a South Saline project. So that we'll be posting these documents and then any updated documents ahead of time so people can get comfortable with what the routing is going to look like. So.
All right, Andrew. Well, I appreciate your time as always, and we'll check back in real soon on more construction updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection, our friend of the show, Michael. He's back and he's ready to rock our socks with some safety tips. Michael, how you doing today?
Doing great, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about elder abuse awareness, protecting seniors from fraud, as June or Elder Abuse Awareness Month and June 15th, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. You can't say that all in one sentence, all happening this month. So first and foremost, set this up. Over the years, when I first even started working with you guys and working with Better Business Bureau, and there were some assumptions I made, and one was that the elderly population is victimized quite a bit from fraud. Still happening, can't say it isn't happening, but overall they're getting smarter, just like all of us are. We're getting smarter, getting better, but we're still losing big dollar amounts when it comes to that. So tell us what's going on this front.
Yeah, so you're absolutely correct. The two largest demographics are youth age between like 18 to 27, 29, and then the elderly population. We refer to them as the senior population, which 70 and older. But the big difference is there's more victims in our younger and our youth population just because they're online more, they're looking at things, they may not educate themselves as well. Sometimes just don't have, the worldly wisdom to be able to pick those things out right away. And so there's more of those volume of victims, but they don't lose as much money because they typically either don't have it or the scams that are being targeted to them have smaller volumes in being targeted. Conversely, our senior population, they usually have the resources, have a little bit more money. Sometimes we've seen with their investment scams or the play to the heartstrings. And so because they have those funds, they're more willing to not only fall for the scam, but also they're going to lose a lot more. So more youth victims losing less money, less senior victims losing a heck of a lot more money.
Yeah, it's it sounds weird, but when you really think about it, quantify it, sounds, well, probably sounds true. Telephone was the method of contact for 36% of fraud reports. Probably have a landline on top of the cell phone.
They do. So, they're still targeting those lines. And, I would say the senior population still is not adverse to talking like we're talking right now. It's much easier to engage them in a conversation, get them talking, and then that, of course, gives the scammer an opportunity to manipulate their dialogue and try and really hook them into the fraud.
And then for statistic wise, as you had mentioned, and just to reiterate it, it says here that those ages 20 to 29 reported losing money to fraud at 41% of the cases filed versus 70 to 79 reported losing it at 18%. So you're really dialing in here. It's not as much, but the money piece of it being so high, why are they gonna give, besides having more of the funds, what is the scams different, or is the targeting different? What are those scams that you're seeing that makes a difference between the two categories in age?
Yeah, it's a good point. Just to monetize those losses. So in the 20 to 29 year category, the average loss, the median loss was around $500. Comparatively, the median loss for that 70, 79, and even the 80 plus averaged out to be about $1,000. So, twice as high the loss. And you're correct, there's some overlap with the scams, but there are a few scams that specifically target the seniors. First is Social Security and Medicare. They're pretending to be from the government. And so they're trying to get their Social Security number to either log in and steal their benefits or use that SSN number to manipulate more, whether apply for credit, open accounts, things like that. And of course, the Social Security and the Medicare, those are age qualifiers. So those only can apply to that senior population. Another one that we see is we call it the grandparent scam. We've seen this for a while. We continue to see it when we do our senior outreach presentations. We'll ask how many have gotten this phone call. And I can't think of a time where at least one person didn't raise their hand. And what happens here is they get a call. Of course, these scammers will go online, check social media accounts, put that family tree together, look for the grandkids, say, hey, I'm traveling to Arizona. And then they'll find the phone number, make the call and impersonate that grandchild saying they're in trouble. The car broke down. They got a ticket for something, got arrested. Please don't tell mom and dad. Could you send me some money? And the grandparents wanted to try and do the right thing, send them that money. What we're trying to do is get the word out there and say, yeah, maybe you don't want mom and dad to know, but call them and verify, or call the grandchild directly and see what's going on.
Yeah, they said too that hit the that older population, but when it comes to scams overall, would it be fair to say, and I maybe just a loaded question here, but is it fair to say that the scams, no matter what generation, yes, they're using keywords here, but are we seeing like similar things? So they're calling you, it's an unwanted call. You can see the path that I'm going here. That's put the money on a gift card or whatever. Is that still kind of the dominant as far as pulling people as victims to these scams?
It absolutely is. So it's starting at its base level. It's just casting the net out there to see who's going to answer. And so sometimes that might be through a text message. And so you tailor those text messages. You and I could easily receive a Medicare or a grandparent stamp, sending them out and seeing who's going to respond to it. The other ones is, that phone with the constant calling. The scammer may have 5 scripts sitting there, and depending on who answers, then they start tailoring that message to who it is. Might not see that so much, if you're really going to try and get your Medicare or grandparents, because you're going to do your research beforehand. But like say your Amazon impersonators or even the romance scams, you want to get on there, and then depending on where the conversation goes, you tweak your approach.
All right. If people want to learn more about the stuff we talked about today, or just scams in general, and of course reporting it, where can they find that at, Michael?
Well, you can just go to our website, which is datcp.wi.gov, or you can also contact us directly by calling our hotline at 800-422-7128, or if you prefer to just send us an email, that's datcaphotline@wi.gov.
Thank you for the conversation. Great information as always, Michael. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate the opportunity.
You betcha. Check out the website for more information and report it, or Michael can't come back on the show and tell us what's the latest scam. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Como padre, todos los días son un desafío. Y hay que estar ahí presentes. No importa lo cansado que uno esté, hay que estar ahí presentes para ellos. Cuando los niños aprenden algo nuevo, es ese momento mágico y especial. Y creo que presenciar ese momento es mi favorito.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year. And lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region, too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show, I want to thank Andrew McFadden from our engineering department with our road construction update, and Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection for their help on preventing scams to everybody, but our focus on elder abuse is Elder Abuse Month. So don't get scammed. All right, stay safe, stay cool. We'll see you back here tomorrow.